right, so let's look at our story mountain here. So we know that our introduction, what information do we learn in the introduction? Who can tell us? Ming Chao, what happens in our introduction? Okay, I'll read the choices out loud first and then we'll go through them. All right, so, and I'll number them too to make it a bit easier for us. Okay, so Marlin tells Nemo to have an adventure. He trusts him now. The aquarium fish make it to the ocean. Characters, Marlin and Nemo. Setting, Great Barrier Reef. Marlin, Nemo, and Dory make it back to the coral reef. Nemo swims out to touch the boat because he's embarrassed. His dad said he couldn't swim well. Marlin and Nemo are reunited. Dory gets stuck in the net, but Marlin and Nemo work together to save her. Marlin meets Dory and they face troubles on their journey to find Nemo. So what is our beginning? What information do we learn at the beginning, Kent? Right here in our mountain, our introduction at the bottom of the mountain, the start of our journey. Do you see the options that I have on this side of the screen?
Yes.
Choose one of these to go onto our story mountain. Yes. So remember, in our beginning or the exposition, that is when we learn about who our characters are and where our setting is. So we have our characters and our setting in our introduction or our exposition. Okay. B. What happens in our story next?
Nemo swim out to touch the boat.
Yep. Nemo swims out to touch the boat. Okay. And what happens after he touches the boat? What's our problem? What happens to Nemo?
The diver caught him.
Mm-hmm. He gets caught by a diver. Okay, so remember that's our inciting incident. Okay, this is the part where the problem is introduced. The problem or the conflict is introduced to us. What happens after that, Bill?
Marlin meets Dory and they face trouble on their journey to find Nemo.
Okay, Marlin and Dory search for Nemo.
Yeah, Marlin.
All right, and our climax. Minnie, what is the climax to this story?
Marlin and Nemo are reunited. Dory gets stuck in a net, but Marlin and Nemo work together to save her.
Okay, good job. So our climax is number 5. Marlin and Nemo are reunited. So united means to come together, and re means again. So they have come together again. Okay, so that is the part of the movie that we have been waiting for the whole time, right? Marlin's journey was all about finding Nemo. Okay, and now for our falling action. Maggie, what is our falling action? Show me with your fingers what number. That's correct. Okay, so our falling action is number 3. And that's when Marlin, Nemo, and Dory make it back to the reef. Okay. And last one, Mit A, what is our resolution to the story?
It is number 1. Marlin tells Nemo to have an adventure. He trusts him now. The aquarium fish make it to the ocean.
Okay, good job. That is the last part of our movie. When we find out that Marlin finally trusts Nemo. And then our aquarium fish make it back to the ocean. Did everyone see the part with the aquarium fish making it back to the ocean? Give me a thumbs up if you saw that part of the movie. Dino did? Minnie did? What do we think is going to happen to our other tank fish, Ming Chao?
I think they will be stuck there forever.
You think they're going to be stuck there forever? Okay, who agrees with Ming Chao? Who else thinks they're going to be stuck there forever? Ling Chi also thinks so. Who thinks they are going to get out of their bags? You think they're going to get out of the bags?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, well, we can hope so. Okay, we're going to talk about different lessons that we can learn from the movie. Okay, so first, we're going to talk about a scene that happens between Marlon and Dory. Okay, so if you have your booklet, I think this is going to be on page 64. Let me double check. Yeah, we're gonna start with page 64, the part called Life Lessons. Okay, so if you have your booklet open to this page, we're gonna watch different clips of the movie, and then we're gonna answer some questions so we can figure out what lesson can we learn from these characters. Mitzi, how do you feel when you watch this scene?
Sad.
Sad, right? I think everybody probably feels pretty sad. Ming Chao, how do you feel when you watch this scene?
I feel sad.
Sad. Okay. Okay, so why is Marlon leaving Dory? What has happened to make him want to leave Dory?
Because Marlon thinks Nemo's gone.
And what do you mean by gone?
Because Marlon thinks we're too late.
What does he think has happened to Nemo?
He thinks Nemo had put to the trash can.
And then what would happen to a fish if it gets put in a trash can?
It will stay there forever. And
can
then the dentist will pick up the trash and throw it to the truck, the trash truck. The
All right.
truck.
Okay, and then what's going to happen to Nemo? Is he just going to live forever in a plastic bag?
He will die.
Okay, so Marlon thinks that Nemo is dead.
That's
Okay, and what does this have to do with Dory, though? What is he, the entire time that he's known Dory, what have they been trying to do together?
they trying to find Nemo and save Nemo.
So do you think every time Marlon looks at Dory, what is he going to remember? What do you think? They've spent the entire time they've known each other has been trying to find Nemo. So if Marlon looks at Dory, he's going to think about who else?
Nemo.
Yeah. And do you think he wants to think about Nemo, or does it make him too sad?
He's think about Nemo.
Well, what does he say? Dory says, "I don't want to forget," and Marlon says,
Oh, he's too sad.
Dory reminds him of their journey to rescue Nemo, and he doesn't want to remember it anymore. Okay, good job. What about Dory? Why doesn't Dory want Marlon to leave her? Dino, can you tell us?
Because Dory can remember more things when he is around.
So Dory remembers things when Marlon is around. Okay. Very good. Knowing these things, what life lesson can we learn from this scene?
Don't give up so easily.
Okay, so let's talk about, does Dory realize before now that she needs Marlon to remember things?
Yes.
Before he decided to leave? Did she? No, she didn't realize it yet. But then once Marlon turns around to leave, then she says, wait. When you're around, I remember things, right? So we can say, don't know what you've got until it's gone, right? She doesn't realize that she needs Marlon until he's gone. And one more thing about this, their friendship. So Dory says, when I look at you, I feel at home. So, Elsa, how does Dory feel about Marlin? Does she think of him just as a friend?
No.
How else does she think or feel about Marlin? Remember, Dory says, when I look at you, I feel at home. So, Elsa, who lives at home with you?
My dad.
And your dad is part of your
Family.
family. So if Dory looks at Marlin and feels at home, she thinks of Marlin as part of her what? If Dory says, when I look at you, I feel at home, she thinks of Marlin as part of her what?
Her family.
So Dory thinks of Marlin as part of her family. Okay. All right, good job. All right, so we're going to watch another clip now. And this one is going to be about our two sea turtles, so Crush and Squirt. So what lesson can we learn from Crush and Squirt? With Squirt and Crush, talk about Crush first. What kind of dad or parent is Crush? Is he overprotective like Marlin is, or is he more carefree? Okay, Mid-A, what kind of parent is Crush?
Crush is a carefree parent.
Okay, so we can say Crush is more carefree, right? How do we know that he's carefree, Mid-A?
Because he lets Squirt goes alone and swim back to him.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't panic when Squirt gets into trouble. Instead, he gives Squirt a chance to solve it himself. So he solve his problems himself. All right. So what happens when Squirt gets sucked out of the current, Lily?
He gets sucked out. He goes backward, and then he struggles and re-entered the current.
Okay. And how does Marlin react to this?
He was surprised.
And what does Marlin want to do when Squirt first gets sucked out of the current?
He wants to help Squirt.
Okay, so Marlin wants to help Squirt. But what does Crush say instead?
He said, "Kill the motor down."
And what does that mean?
Don't do anything with, like, see what Squirt does. Do not do anything, just see.
Okay, so Marlin wants to help Squirt get back into the current, but Crush tells him to see what Squirt does. And Squirt is able to get back by himself. Okay. And what lesson can we learn from this scene? Pizza, what can we learn from this scene?
Crush. I don't know.
Okay, well, is it for parents? Do parents need to do everything for their children?
No.
Or should they give...
Crush lets Squirt to be independent.
Okay, and what happens when he lets Squirt be independent?
Squirt will be independent and not let Crush do everything for him.
Okay, and did Squirt end up safe or did he end up in danger?
Safe.
Right. Okay, so we can say Parents need to give their children the independence to, we'll say, make mistakes and fix them by themselves. Okay. And what can we learn from Squirt? Say, Jon Snow, what can we learn from Squirt? Even though something might be scary, should you try it by yourself anyways?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So we can learn to step out of your comfort zone. Okay? And this just means to do things that might seem scary, but won't be so scary after you try it. Okay, so these are some lessons we can learn from Squirt and Crush. All right, I think we have time for one more clip to learn from the scene with Bruce in it. Our shark scene. Ling-Chi, what do Dory and Marlin think when they first meet Bruce?
I think that he is scary.
Scary, okay. And what does Marlin think that Bruce is going to do to them?
He's going to eat them.
Yes. So we'll say I think this is more so Marlin than it is Dory. So we'll say Marlin thinks that Bruce is scary. He thinks that he is going to eat them. Okay, and then they go to the party or the meeting. And what is Bruce really like? Okay. Does he want to eat Marlin and Dory?
He wants to be healthy.
He wants to be healthy. Okay.
He wants to be friendly to other fish and don't want to eat them.
Okay. So let's say they find out that Bruce is actually a friendly shark and doesn't want to eat fish. Good job. Maybe he wants to be. Do you think he's on a vegetarian diet to be healthy or to be friendly?
Both.
What do you think? Ling-Chi says both. All right. What do you think, Kent? Healthy or friendly?
I think that only friendly.
Just friendly? Okay. I think so too. So, last question. What lesson can we learn from the scene with Bruce? So remember, at first, actually let's add that here. Say, at first, Marlin thinks that Bruce is scary and that he's going to eat them. They find out that Bruce is actually a friendly shark and doesn't want to eat fish. So what lesson can we learn from this? Jon Snow, what lesson do you think we can learn from this? So at first, Marlin thinks that Bruce is scary and is going to eat them. Then he later finds out that Bruce is actually a friendly shark and doesn't want to eat fish. What's a good life lesson we can learn from this scene? Think, were the first looks correct about Bruce?
No.
No, so we can say first looks can be what? First looks can be?
Can be wrong.
All right, we can say first looks can be wrong. Okay, and another way to say this is don't judge a book by its
cover.
Yeah,
Cover.
Judge a book by its cover. Okay, so if you just see the cover of a book and you think that looks stupid, you should maybe try and read it anyways, and maybe it will become your favorite book. You never know. So those are the lessons we can learn from Bruce. Okay, so the next ones you're going to do for homework. So I'm going to send home the pages that look like this. So the pictures, and then each one will have the questions to help you. And I will also send home the links to the clips on YouTube. So you can watch each clip. We're just going to do 2. You can watch each clip, and then you can answer the questions and then decide on your own what lesson can we learn from these characters and their different scenes. Does anyone have any questions?
Listeners, I don't have any questions.
No questions?
There's only 1 minute.